Hello, my name is Jake and I'm going to take you through an animal cell and show you all the organelles and what they do. First off, I'm going to tell you why this is an animal cell and not a plant cell. Plant cells have cell walls and chloroplasts, and animal cells do not. Animal and plant cells have vacuoles, but animal cells have multiple tiny vacuoles, while plant cells have one big vacuole. Our first stop is going to be the cell membrane. The cell membrane is a semi-permeable bilayer of phospholipids. The cell membrane has peripheral proteins and integral proteins. Peripheral proteins go all the way through the cell membrane, while integral proteins are only on the inside of the membrane. There are two kinds of transports, passive and active transport. Passive transport is when molecules go from a high concentration gradient to a lower concentration gradient. When this happens, it does not require any energy. This is also called simple diffusion. When something is too big to fit through the cell membrane, it requires a transport protein. These proteins are selectively permeable, meaning they decide what comes in or out. Active transport goes against gradient, which means from low to high concentration. This requires energy, called ATP. When water diffuses through the cell membrane, it's a process called osmosis. These here are called centrioles. Centrioles organize chromosomes and prepare them for cell division. Right here is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is everywhere in the cell, surrounding every organelle. Cytoplasm consists of mostly water and enzymes, which create a gel-like appearance. These are microtubules, also known as the cytoskeleton. What this does is keep the shape of the cell and supports it. This is a ribosome. Ribosomes consist of RNA and proteins. The ribosomes assemble proteins in the cell. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The rough ER synthesizes proteins and creates membranes for the cell. The rough ER has attached ribosomes. And over here is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth ER synthesizes carbohydrates and lipids. The smooth ER does not have ribosomes attached to it. Now we're at the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus stores food, waste products, water, and is responsible for transporting certain materials within the cell. This is a lysosome, and lysosomes are circular-shaped structures which act as the stomach of the cell and digest unwanted materials such as bacteria. Now we're at the mitochondria. The mitochondria is basically the powerhouse of the cell. This is a vacuole. A vacuole contains water, food, waste products, and other materials in the cell. And this is a vesicle. What a vesicle does is transport material in and out or within the cell. This is the nuclear envelope. What this is a double-layered membrane that is a physical barrier for the nucleus. And this is the nucleus. The nucleus contains hereditary information and is basically the brain of the cell. This is chromatin. Chromatin is DNA and protein that condense to form chromosomes during cell division. Finally, we are at the nucleolus. The nucleolus is basically a smaller nucleus, and what this does is it assembles proteins within the cell nucleus. And lastly, I'm going to talk to you about flagellum. The purpose of flagellum is for movement. We are now at the end of our tour, and I'm going to talk to you about cell theory. Cell theory states that all living organisms are composed of cells, whether they're unicellular, cellular, or multicellular. The cell is the basic unit of life, and that cells arise from pre-existing cells. And some ideas include that energy flow occurs within cells. Cells store hereditary information that is passed on from cell to cell, and that all cells have the same basic chemical composition.